The decision to fund another group of KC-46A aircraft is best understood as part of a much broader picture that stretches across the operational needs of the Air Force, the realities of the American industrial base, the requirements of global power projection, and the strategic environment the United States faces in the coming decades. When an aircraft program reaches the point that the Air Force commits billions more into additional production lots, it signals that the service has concluded that the platform is moving into a mature stage where it can reliably support missions with fewer operational restrictions. The KC-46A program had a difficult early life, with multiple delays, technical complications, and questions about whether the Air Force would continue buying in its original planned numbers. The new contract shows that those uncertainties are fading and that senior leadership views the aircraft as steadily improving and increasingly important to long-term strategy. The KC-46A is built to replace aircraft that have served far longer than anyone anticipated. KC-135 tankers, many of which began their careers during the Cold War, have been modernized and upgraded repeatedly, but age eventually limits how far these updates can go. No matter how capable the aircrew, there comes a point at which older aircraft impose maintenance burdens, acquisition costs, and structural challenges that become unsustainable. The Air Force has to look ahead, sometimes decades ahead, to ensure that the core capability of global refueling remains intact. Without a steady flow of new tankers, the service would risk facing a sudden drop in refueling capacity at a moment when adversaries are sharpening their long-range strike and anti-access capabilities. Expanding the KC-46A fleet protects against that risk by extending the tanker backbone into the future. Each KC-46A that enters service brings with it a range of refueling compatibility options and a more modern internal architecture. It can refuel fighters, bombers, reconnaissance aircraft, and transports across a broad spectrum, giving commanders the freedom to organize missions without worrying about whether a tanker will struggle to connect with a certain type of aircraft. Because the KC-46A integrates digital systems, it can share information more efficiently and supports secure communications links that older tankers were never designed to carry. This increases situational awareness for both the tanker crew and the aircraft they support, allowing more coordinated operations during complex missions. Over time, as the fleet grows, the Air Force gains more flexibility in how it distributes tankers across its bases, how it supports both training and deployment schedules, and how it balances the demands placed on older aircraft. The program's progress also reflects improvements in the manufacturing pipeline. Maintaining a stable and capable aviation workforce is harder when production lines start and stop unpredictably. Skilled engineers, technicians, and specialists require consistent work to maintain their proficiency. When gaps occur, expertise can be lost, suppliers can exit the market, and rebuilding those capabilities later becomes expensive and slow. By approving another large procurement round, the U.S. government ensures that the industrial ecosystem remains active. This allows component suppliers to invest in better equipment, keeps the workforce engaged, and avoids the erosion of knowledge that might otherwise hamper future aircraft programs. In this way, buying more KC-46s does more than deliver aircraft. It reinforces the entire defense manufacturing structure that the United States relies on for its aviation superiority. The tanker's multi-mission role has also grown in relevance. American operations increasingly depend on platforms that can perform more than one function without sacrificing their primary purpose. The KC-46A is built to refuel aircraft in flight, but it also provides significant cargo transport and personnel movement capability. It can perform aeromedical missions with more efficiency than the aircraft it is replacing. In real-world deployments, flexibility like this matters because it reduces the number of aircraft needed to support a mission set. It allows mobility planners to reorganize assets quickly and to respond to unplanned operational demands without delaying higher priority missions. As the world becomes more unpredictable, the U.S. military benefits from systems that allow rapid adaptation. The steady pace of upgrades and corrections shows the Air Force's determination to make the aircraft successful and Boeing's commitment to resolving past problems. Early in the program, several issues limited the aircraft's use in certain scenarios. Those problems have gradually been addressed through hardware and software improvements, and the Air Force has been integrating each new version into its training and operational procedures. Continued investment and ongoing refinement demonstrate that progress is tangible. The service would not place another large order if it believed the aircraft had reached a dead end or could not meet its future operational requirements. Instead, The new contract indicates that the improvements underway are meeting expectations and that the Air Force envisions the KC-46A as a long-term solution. The strategic environment is also pushing the United States to maintain a strong tanker fleet. Potential adversaries are building systems designed to complicate American operations, including long-range weapons and sensors that aim to make refueling aircraft more vulnerable. To counter this, the Air Force needs tankers that can operate closer to contested regions with improved communications, better survivability, and the ability to stay integrated with the rest of the force. The KC-46A supports this requirement with its modern systems, giving it an advantage over older tankers that were never designed for such conditions. The aircraft does not replace the need for future tanker concepts, but it strengthens the Air Force during a period when strategic competition is intensifying and operational demands are expanding. Beyond operational capability, the new KC-46A order strengthens America's global presence. Many allies rely on U.S. refueling support to participate in joint missions and multinational exercises. When the United States expands its tanker fleet, it expands the capacity to support partners who operate alongside U.S. forces in the Indo-Pacific, Europe, and the Middle East. A strong tanker force increases the credibility of U.S. commitments because it ensures that American aircraft, and those of Allied air forces, can deploy rapidly and remain operational for extended durations. This enhances deterrence and makes it clear to both partners and competitors that American airpower can arrive quickly and from long distances, sustaining pressure without relying heavily on forward bases. The KC-46A's production momentum also helps shape the Air Force's long-term planning. With each new contract, the service can refine basing decisions, allocate training resources, and build maintenance structures that will support decades of operations. As more squadrons transition from legacy tankers to the KC-46A, knowledge spreads across the force, and the aircraft becomes easier to integrate into normal operations. This smooth transition reduces the strain on older aircraft, lowers maintenance costs over time, and prepares the Air Force for the future tanker concepts that will eventually follow. The United States gains confidence that as the fleet evolves, it will never face a sudden gap in refueling capability, a gap that could degrade global power projection. The contract reflects a broad acknowledgement within the Air Force that procurement delays would be more harmful than continuing to push forward. In a world where adversaries are modernizing rapidly, hesitation carries strategic costs. The KC-46A is becoming the platform the Air Force needs it to be, and additional procurement ensures there is no break in the progression from today's needs to tomorrow's challenges. It ensures the force has adequate depth to sustain intense operations, surge when necessary, and maintain tempo in extended missions that require a high number of sorties. Without a robust tanker fleet, none of these capabilities would be possible. All of these factors make the new procurement round a significant, far-reaching decision that strengthens the United States militarily, industrially, and strategically. It signals confidence in the trajectory of the tanker program, ensures the continuity of a key national capability, supports global mission requirements, and positions the Air Force to remain adaptable in a rapidly changing world. The KC-46A will be a central element of U.S. airpower for decades, and expanding the fleet now ensures the United States remains fully prepared for the operational demands ahead.